8 years ago today, it was a massacre that changed the lives of so many.
49 people were gunned down in an attack at Pulse nightclub. How leaders and loved ones across Central Florida are paying tribute to remember the lives lost.
Plus, healthcare for transgender children is now protected in the state. Why a judge says trying to ban it is not only wrong, but unconstitutional.
And a tropical wave off Florida's Gulf Coast set to deliver lots of rain. First warning meteorologist Eric Burris is tracking just how much we could get.
Local, live, late breaking. WESH 2 News Sunrise starts now.
It is Wednesday morning, and we are so thankful you're joining us here on June 12th. And the Sunrise team is going to help you navigate this day ahead. We do have a lot of stories that we're covering in big news as we look back 8 years ago and remember Pulse. But we've got to also talk about that weather as we get to it. I'm Jason Guy.
And I'm Sonica Dange. Let's get over to first warning meteorologist Eric Burris this morning. Eric, we are once again expecting that soggy stretch of wet weather to continue.
Yeah, no doubt. This morning, clouds and even rain just outside of downtown Orlando. Moving on in, here's a live look on our tower cam perspective. First warning, live Doppler radar showing those showers from about the metro to the south, but they are lifting to the north. So Conway back over toward Taft, Lee Vista seeing some rain, pockets of heavier stuff here. Approaching the Four Corners, will be lifting up through Champions Gate into Celebration and the Tourist District shortly. Some decent little thunderstorm action here. Southern Polk, southern Osceola out near Kenansville, trying to work up toward Holopaw. But no doubt you may see some of the flashes of lightning off in the distance and some of the peripheral showers spreading over here to I-95 and Brevard County. So this morning, mostly cloudy skies. Yes, we've got some rains around, but that rain coverage increases through the day. With rain on the radar, though, we need to make sure weather and traffic go very close together. And to continue that live team coverage, let's get over to Megan Mackey.
Eric, good morning. Yeah, definitely could be some issues heading out the door this morning. Keep in mind those slick conditions. Going to want to take it slow for your morning drive. There is a crash in Ocala right now. Highway 301 at US 27. All the lanes reportedly closed here this morning. Working to learn some more details, but do know there are some injuries here and a complete roadblock. So State Road 40 just south of there is going to be that best detour, as well as I-75. This is a live look right now at I-4. Definitely starting to see that rain move in. So again, take it slow. No crashes along the I-4 corridor close to Maitland. We will check in though with those travel times in a few minutes.
Today, Orlando will mark 8 years since the deadly attack at Pulse nightclub. 49 people's lives were taken.
And that began with a ceremony this morning at the former nightclub. That's where we find WESH 2's Bob Hazen. Bob, people marked that exact moment when the shooting started.
Yeah, it was 2:02 in the morning. That's when dozens of people were right back here to honor the victims of the attack. Now, the city does now own the nightclub site here, and the mayor has promised to get a permanent memorial done by this time in 2026. There will also be a series of events today where the public can remember the victims. Those include blood drives at Orlando City Hall and the Dr. Phillips Performing Arts Center. At 4 p.m., First United Methodist Church in downtown will ring its bells 49 times, and then at 7 o'clock, the official Pulse Remembrance Ceremony will be held at the Dr. Phillips Performing Arts Center. You can go on the Dr. Phillips website to get a free ticket if you want to attend that, but it's really intended for survivors as well as family members and first responders. Reporting live in Orlando, Bob Hazen, WESH 2 News.
All right, Bob, later today we are expected to see the artwork that will honor the 49 victims in a new tribute being built in Osceola County. The tribute, called Wings of the Rainbow, will live at Brownie Wise Park in Kissimmee. The county is using COVID relief funds to pay for the tribute. WESH 2 spoke with the artist behind the design. He said he sees this as an opportunity to tell the story of the lives that were lost that day. The concept art will be unveiled at 1:30 this afternoon. It was supposed to build a memorial to the 49 lives taken in the Pulse nightclub attack. Tomorrow, WESH 2 Chronicle investigates the demise of the One Pulse Foundation. With no memorial after 8 years, you'll hear from former employees, victims' families, and survivors as the city of Orlando takes on the task of building a permanent place to honor the 49. WESH 2 Chronicle Life After Pulse tomorrow night at 8 o'clock here on WESH 2.
The Florida law blocking affirming care for minors was struck down by federal court this week, and WESH 2's Tony Atkins is joining us live right now. Tony, the federal judge says the state's law is unconstitutional.
Yeah, Jason, yesterday this Judge Robert Hinkle released his opinion of more than 100 pages explaining why he believes the state went too far and why this is unconstitutional. And the state says that it does have plans to appeal yesterday's decision, so we'll have to see how things play out in court. I'm reporting live this morning. Tony Atkins, WESH 2 News.
Thank you, Tony. Happening now, Marion County deputies need your help finding the person who broke into a 91-year-old woman's home in the middle of the night and attacked her. The woman was sleeping early Sunday morning in her Reddick home. Officials say that's when the man beat her up and sexually abused her. But the elderly woman put up a fight.
I saw pictures of her victim and what this person had done to her, and the fact that she was tough enough to stand up and continue was amazing. To call us and to scream and yell at her attacker and try to fight this person off.
Now, police say the room was too dark for the woman to get a good look at her attacker. Detectives are gathering fingerprints and looking through home surveillance footage to try and identify the suspect. In Volusia County, a woman is in jail charged with the raping of a 12-year-old boy.
And the victim told investigators his dad set it all up. Investigators say 20-year-old Amanda Maradiaga raped the 12-year-old at the boy's father's home in DeBerry about 2 weeks ago. The arrest report says the father called the boy and told him the woman was coming to his room. It was the boy's mother who alerted authorities.
It's obviously sad, very devastating for a young boy. I mean, when we're talking about transitioning from boyhood to manhood.
Investigators say Maradiaga admitted to having sex with the boy. They say she is not a U.S. citizen and appears to be in the country illegally. She is in jail with no bond.
We're getting a look inside the interrogation room while Susan Lawrence was being questioned. She's charged with manslaughter for shooting and killing her neighbor, A.J. Owens, outside Owens' home in Marion County in June of last year. Marion County detectives spent 2 hours with Lawrence asking about her childhood, her past, and her relationship with the mother of 4. Lawrence denied ever using racial slurs toward Owens' kids, despite Owens' family accusing her of doing so. But she did admit to calling them other derogatory names.
I did call them retards once because they just kept coming and coming. I said, "Are you retarded? You can't read the sign." Okay. You know, how many times do we have to tell you you're trespassing, you know?
Detectives said 2 minutes passed from the time Lawrence called 911 complaining about Owens' kids playing by her house to the moment she shot Owens through her front door. Lawrence is expected back in court next month. And so we could use the rain. We just need it to come very slowly and in small doses so we don't deal with all that flooding.
Yeah, we certainly saw a good bit of rain yesterday, Eric. For those getting up this morning and trying to prepare for their day, when are we going to start seeing the next round?
Yeah, we're already seeing it right now. We've got some showers around. I think that for the most part, though, the morning commute won't be including downpours unless you live further south, right? Through lunchtime, we'll go mostly cloudy, and then we'll start to see more showers and storms redeveloping. Area of low pressure is just kind of hanging out off the coast, but it's pouring in all of this energy, and you can see a cluster of rain spreading throughout our area. Now, the next few hours we've got rain. By about 10 o'clock, we'll start to recycle the atmosphere. That continues through lunchtime, and then 1, 2 p.m., we'll start to see more and more rains lifting from South Florida into our area. So this morning, about a 20% coverage of rain, 9 a.m., then resetting and rising those rain chances thereafter. Don't worry, though. We got you covered hour by hour. We'll see you with more on your forecast through the day today in just a couple minutes.
A public bus was hijacked, leading officials on a chase during rush hour. Look at that.
Alarmed police. Something was wrong just moments before it took off, speeding through the streets of Atlanta.
Plus, a porch pirate wasted no time stealing a package right in the middle of a delivery.
Yeah, look at that. Quick grab, leaving the worker completely frozen. All right, 5:18 right now. My lawn got some much needed rain. Lots of thunder over where I lived too yesterday.
We need it though,
Yeah.
you know.
So not the thunder.
We need the rainfall, right? And we're going to see more today. But today's kind of we're going to get some early rains, a bit of a break in the midday. So go enjoy and do the things. And then late today again, we'll get the showers and the thunder showers. So hey, another 80% coverage out there this morning. It is cloudy over to varies from our network there. A lovely start, but you can see an active first warning live Doppler radar with showers across Orange County. Some of these working into the metro area and up into Winter Park, so that means some slick roadways. So plan accordingly, my friends, with heavier stuff off to the south. Even some pretty decent thunderstorms out over the Kissimmee River. But the Four Corners, Champions Gate, Celebration, nice swath of heavy rain working up to Disney and eventually over toward Universal and SeaWorld. More rain spreading out over Brevard County from Cocoa Beach down to about Malabar and Palm Bay. But this is the bigger storm. 30-40 mile per hour range, not really moving much. So I would suspect that there's not a ton of people that live here, but there are people that live here. I would suspect that some of the more poorly drained rural roads in these areas may have some flooding concerns next couple of hours. Little swirl of low pressure off of our west coast is the culprit for all of this moisture. It has been tagged as Invest 90, so it's a tropical wave that's impacting us. And look at the result. We've basically, these next few hours have a pretty high, like 40% coverage of rain. By 9 a.m., that drops down to 20%. And then late morning into the early afternoon, we start to build it back up to an 80% coverage around dinner time today. High temperatures limited to the 80s area-wide. Here's Futurecast showing that swath of rain, kind of I-4 east of town. But by 9, 10, 11 o'clock, we'll quiet the radar down a little bit. And then by 12, we've got about as much sun as we're going to see, because after that, watch the radar getting more active. 4, 5 p.m. scattered showers, even a few thunder showers, continuing right through about 7, 8, 9 o'clock tonight. And then late tonight, we'll start to quiet things down again. So if you're heading out to the attractions, it's pockets of rain around this morning and then tropical downpours by this afternoon. That moisture plume just continues, but as this piece of energy moves away, could see some possible tropical development associated with it. Whether that happens or not, we're still looking at an additional 3 to 5 inches of rain in our area, and southwest Florida could get an additional 6 to 12 inches. So take a look. Central Florida's certified most accurate 7-day forecast. High coverage of rain continues through Friday, and then this weekend into early next week. It's that summertime pattern we all know and love. Megan, wet roads though this morning. How are they looking?
Yeah, definitely, Eric. This is a live look if you're heading out the door in Osceola County from our FDOT camera close to Champions Gate. You can see that rain just coming down here this morning. Those delays building, traveling eastbound towards Celebration. It is going to be a slick commute, so definitely plan ahead at 10 to 15 minutes and use extra caution, as Eric said. Fortunately, right now, only one crash I'm monitoring, and this one is up in Ocala. This is along Highway 301. This is at US 27. There is a complete roadblock here, though, with this crash. So heading out the door in Ocala, State Road 40 is going to have to be that detour this morning. No other big crashes to worry about, though, this morning, but that rain is moving in. So a morning, you're definitely going to want to give yourself a few extra minutes to get to work or wherever you're going. Those travel times in Seminole County are in the green. I-4 from Lake Mary Boulevard to Princeton Street. We're at less than 13 minutes. Jason?
All right, Megan. They say, whoever they are, that everything's bigger in Texas.
And sure enough, now it's home to the world's largest Buc-ee's. What makes this location one of a kind?
Actress Amy Ryan, next live.
All right, a popular eatery in Orlando just came up short in the running for the James Beard Award.
Yeah, Kaya lost Best New Restaurant to a spot in New Orleans, but it is still a great honor to be named a finalist for one of the most prestigious honors there in the industry. In a post on social media, the Filipino-inspired restaurant said, quote, "We couldn't be more proud of this team in the community that lifts us up." All right, great job there to Kaya. Now to the world's largest Buc-ee's. It is officially open.
Now, unfortunately, it's not at the Sunshine State, but it's in Texas. The store chain, famous for its chopped brisket sandwiches and lovable beaver mascot, opened a new store in Luling Monday that is just south of Austin. It is 75,000 square feet and has 120 gas pumps. Now, the Marion County location will come close to that record, but won't beat it. It'll be 74,000 square feet. It's in the works in Ocala, and it'll be built just east of I-75 near Highway 326. That is set to open next year.
A new partnership is bringing hundreds of high-paying jobs to our Space Coast.
When Boeing plans to open a new center for engineers.
And Brevard County is expanding the Guardian program.
How school leaders and officials are teaming up to make sure every school in the county is protected. Right now at 5:30, Orlando stands united 8 years after the Pulse nightclub attack. How people in Central Florida are honoring and remembering the 49 lives lost.
Plus, a 17-year-old is in custody in Ocala, accused of driving drunk and causing a crash that left a husband and wife dead. How fast the teen was allegedly going when he hit the couple's car, causing it to burst into flames.
And it is another wet start in parts of Central Florida. First warning meteorologist Eric Burris is tracking how much rain we could get before the day is over.
Local, live, late breaking. WESH 2 News Sunrise starts now.
A good Wednesday morning, and thank you for starting it with the WESH 2 News Sunrise team. It is June 12th, 2024. I'm Jason Guy.
And I'm Sonika Dongi. A lot to get to this morning as we take you around Central Florida and talk about the ceremonies and remembrances that are happening today. But first, we want to get a check of our forecast because hopefully your umbrella has dried out from overnight. We're going to need it once again.
Yeah, it's raining again. And as a matter of fact, we take a look outside. You've got some slick roadways and rain falling in the metro. Take a look at our first warning live Doppler radar. The showers are moving right through downtown Orlando into Winter Park, into Maitland. Heavier little swath of rain moving through the Four Corners and the tourist district. Another batch around Point Siena. Some stuff working over toward Bay Lake and Claremont. And you've already had slick roadways because of showers that have just passed on through. And then over here to Brevard County from about Port St. John down through about Melbourne. Notice all the way down to Mico and the Sebastian Inlet. We are tracking rain. So for now, it's like a 40% coverage. That'll drop off a little bit through 7, 8, 9 o'clock and then start to climb again through the afternoon. We'll take you hour by hour using Futurecast through the day in just a couple of minutes. But with slick roadways, we've got to get right over to Megan Mackey with first warning traffic.
Yeah, unfortunately, no crashes to worry about right now, but you can really see those slick conditions in some of our cameras this morning. This is a live look from our camera in downtown Orlando, close to Lake Ivanhoe, Colonial Drive. You can barely see the skyline here this morning because of how much rain there is. So make sure you're taking it slow along the I-4 corridor, traveling out the door in the metro Winter Park area because that rain is coming down. There's also a crash I'm monitoring in Ocala. This is having a big impact to drivers along Highway 301. All the lanes are shut down here at US 27, which is why you're seeing that purple. So a crash here with some injuries. State Road 40 just south of there is going to be that detour. I'll be keeping my eye on that crash, and we'll check back in with those road conditions in a few minutes. Sonika.
Today marks 8 years since the Pulse nightclub massacre that killed 49 people in Orlando.
And overnight, some held a special remembrance for the victims. WESH 2's Bob Hazen is live at Pulse right now. Bob, dozens of people came out for that ceremony.
And some of the people who were here this morning included family members of the victims as well as friends and even some people who were injured during that shooting 8 years ago.
A 17-year-old is facing charges this morning accused of driving drunk and causing a crash that killed 2 people. This all happened February 20th on Southeast 36th Avenue in Ocala. Ocala police say officers found a car on fire when they got to the scene of the crash. The couple inside was dead. Detectives say the teen was driving 120 miles an hour and showed no signs of braking before the crash. Blood test revealed his alcohol level was 0.188. He's now facing DUI manslaughter charges.
A former Spectrum cable technician is facing charges in 2 criminal court cases where he's accused of assaulting women while on the job. In one felony case, Evan Claremont is accused of groping an elderly woman and exposing himself while asking for sex. He then allegedly fled in his Spectrum work truck. 2 months later, a second woman came forward alleging he propositioned her for sex. In a statement emailed to WESH 2 News, a Spectrum spokesperson says the man was terminated in 2022 and had worked for the company for less than a year. Claremont is due back in court next month. An Osceola County man is in jail accused of sexual battery on a child. Investigators say the suspect you see here, 40-year-old William Osceola, was caught exposing himself in bed with a 10-year-old boy over the weekend. Detectives think there might be other victims. If you have any information about this suspect, call the sheriff's office.
Port Orange police need help finding a suspected bank robber. Police say the man on your screen walked into the ViStar Credit Union on Dunlawton Avenue around 3:15 yesterday afternoon and took off with cash. New Smyrna Beach Police, Edgewater Police, and the Volusia County Sheriff's Office are all looking for this man. If you recognize him or if you have any information, call police.
All right, if weather cooperates, SpaceX is looking to launch a rocket from our Space Coast. And check out your screen. It's happening as a Falcon 9 goes up from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station tonight at 5:20. And this is a mission for Starlink.
If weather permits is going to be the phrase we use an awful lot this week. So as we take a look at the forecast this evening, Eric, what do you think our chances are that liftoff will happen?
Not good.
Okay.
I think listen, it's Starlink, so it's their own property going up, their own payload, so they're going to work toward it. But I do not think weather is going to cooperate, and this is why. We actually have an invest nearby, which is a tropical wave that the National Hurricane Center is watching closely. And if you look, there's actually the spin right there ashore now in Pinellas County. So that's where it actually is located, but it's funneling moisture all across South and Central Florida. It's not like it's going to become a hurricane, thankfully, but as it works across the peninsula, there is a small window once it gets off the eastern seaboard of tropical development, a low 20% chance of that happening. Either way, though, it's just a bunch of moisture in our area. Let's talk about today's rain chances from this thing when I see you in just a couple minutes.
All right, Eric, thanks. The May inflation report is due out today. Why the numbers could push back anticipated interest rate cuts.
Plus, a new partnership between Embry-Riddle University and Boeing will bring hundreds of high-paying jobs to Central Florida. How else it'll help students in the future.
You're watching WESH 2.
New inflation numbers are due out this morning, hours before the Federal Reserve is set to make its latest announcement about interest rates.
Today's report will give the Fed an indication of whether those elevated interest rates are helping to cool inflation. Economists believe the data will show the rate of inflation rose 0.3% in May, not factoring in food and fuel prices, the same as last month, while year-to-year inflation is at 3.5%. That is well above the Fed's 2% goal. It's a sign the economy remains resilient despite high interest. The Fed is looking for more moderate growth before cutting rates, but other measures of inflation like consumer spending and hiring suggest it may be too early to do so.
What the Fed really cares about is running in the kind of 2.5 to 3% range, and the Fed needs it to be at 2. Now, it'll come down. The question is, will it come down sustainably? Will it stay there? And how long does the Fed need to keep rates where they are in order to make sure that it does?
Shortly after today's numbers are out, the Fed is expected to announce they're leaving interest rates alone for now.
A new partnership between Embry-Riddle University and Boeing will bring hundreds of high-paying jobs to Daytona Beach. The new home to a Boeing engineering center is under construction right now. This building will create high-quality jobs in Volusia County, leaders say, for about 400 people. The average annual pay will be roughly $100,000. Embry-Riddle's president says this will not only create a number of opportunities to professionals, but give current students the ability to grow.
One part of being a student that really adds to your future opportunities is having an internship. And having an internship at a place like Boeing is pretty impressive on your resume.
The center will open this fall, and Boeing hopes to hire the first 200 workers before the end of this year.
Well, Central Florida isn't the only area seeing a lot of rain this week. Take a look. Heavy rainfall triggered some flash flooding in parts of South Florida yesterday, making for dangerous conditions on roads. Rain also flooded a mobile home park in Hialeah, as well as other neighborhoods. Scattered storms are expected to last through the week and into the weekend, with upwards of 10 inches of rain possible before the system moves out.
Ooh, and for us, we saw a lot of rain with severe weather roughly a week ago on Thursday night. And then, Eric, we got a good soaking yesterday, especially in some parts.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So, like, we're seeing this video of flooding, right? Let's look around the state real fast and just kind of get an idea of how much rain fell over the last couple of days. In Bradenton, well over a half a foot, closing in on a foot, as a matter of fact. Sarasota, Everglades City, and Miami checking in the 6 to 7 inch range. But even here in Central Florida have we seen some significant numbers. West Titusville, over half a foot, just shy of that at the Canaveral National Seashore. UCF coming in at 3.5 inches of rain. Mims at about 3 inches of rain. So it's been raining. We need it badly, and we're going to continue with this pattern. A cloudy start to the day on our live tower cam network over in New Smyrna Beach. Temperatures out the door in the 70s, and yeah, we're already watching some showers. To our first warning, live Doppler radar we go. Showers kind of scattered about here in Orange County. Light stuff there. Good steadier rain pushing into Walt Disney World back over to Celebration. Wet roadways, though, from the 429 back over to I-4. Heavier pockets of rain working through Bay Lake into Groveland, lifting up toward Claremont and Mineola. And then there's just this big swath of rain from about the Kissimmee River over to the Space Coast. Steady rains from about 528 past Patrick Space Force Base and all the way down to the Sebastian Inlet with some heavier pockets. So roads are going to be slick here on I-95, and a pretty good thunderstorm complex here along the Kissimmee River over Polk and Osceola County. Not really moving much, so could see some flooding out that direction. Big reason for this is a tropical wave kind of sitting off of our west coast, just funneling in all of this moisture. So this morning we're going with a 40% coverage of rain. Then we'll drop it down as the sun comes up, stabilizes our atmosphere a little bit. Then we'll reintroduce a bunch more moisture, and through the afternoon, working to an 80% coverage. Highs today, again, limited into the mid and upper range of the 80s, but watch Futurecast. 10 o'clock. We've got that stabilization taking place. So clouds about as dry as you're going to get. And then from lunchtime on, we're just going to start to fill this radar scan. 4, 5, 6 o'clock. Look at how most of us are getting some rain from time to time. And then 9, 10, 11 o'clock, we'll start to clear it out. So in terms of launch forecasts for tonight's Starlink, there's a 5% chance of good weather. Does SpaceX have the opportunity to thread the needle? We shall see. In the meantime, lots of much-needed rain these next couple of days. And then this weekend into early next week, it's back to a normal summertime pattern with that 40-50% coverage of showers and storms. Wet roads, though, Megan, how are things looking?
Yeah, Eric, definitely going to be a soggy commute. I feel like this is the most rain we've seen for the morning commute all week. So heading out the door, that is something to keep in mind. Definitely a day you're going to want to add maybe 15 minutes to your morning commute. This is a live look at I-4 right now from our tower camera here at our WESH studios at Lee Road. This is looking up towards Maitland. You can see just how wet those roads are here this morning. Fortunately, right now, no crashes. There was one that was blocking just the left shoulder here heading towards Maitland Boulevard on that eastbound side, but that has cleared out. And the only big problem in terms of crashes is up in Ocala. This is along Highway 301 at US 27, a complete roadblock here because of an earlier crash happened around 4:30 this morning and still blocking all those lanes. So State Road 40 is going to be that detour. Right now, I do want to give you a check-in on those travel times along I-4. Despite that rain, our travel times are in the green westbound from Longwood, Lake Mary, and Maitland heading towards downtown. We're at less than 12 minutes.
All right, Megan. Streaming services are about to get more expensive. Why binge watching your favorite shows will cost you more this summer.
Plus, the Bucks welcome a new player to the team. Why he's already feeling right at home.
Barbie breakups. Is your man enough? Next, Tamron Hall.
Lucky break.
Addressing the struggles of those without homes here in Central Florida, we look at a new program that will help find stable housing for young people.
Plus, honoring the 49 people killed at Orlando's Pulse nightclub 8 years ago today. Bob.
Yeah, dozens of people came here to Pulse at 2:02 in the morning to mark that moment from 8 years ago. The events today that you can go to remember the 49 victims. Aaron.
We are tracking clouds and rain this morning with showers lifting through parts of the tourist district and heading right into the heart of the metro. Central Florida's most accurate forecast on when this rain impacts you and your neighborhood straight.
Closed captioning is sponsored by Advent Health.